I'm sorry I was late today, man.
It's okay. Stuff happens, And I'm sure you have a reason as to why you were late. But I'm gonna go ahead and say me and Paolo are okay with it because we're here now.
Well, it's more about the fans that I'm concerned about. Hopefully they'll take me back.
Yeah,
but,
I'm sure they will.
We made it here.
We're here right now.
What time were we supposed to start at?
We were supposed to start at 11. It's 2:20.
Currently 2:20.
Yeah, but it's okay.
But we made it here. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah,
on the show, years in the making.
Yeah, we've been talking about this for a long time, and I'm happy that we're actually finally getting it going. I guess we'll start off by introducing ourselves. So my name is Julian Bonello. Everybody calls me Bones. To my right here is our amazing producer, Paolo Gismondi. This wouldn't be anything without him.
Yeah, he makes this all possible. Thanks for being here, Paolo. And I'm Sutton.
Yeah. That's my good friend Sutton over there at the other end of the table. For those of you who don't know, we've been friends for a long time. We went to the same school.
You had a root canal last week.
Stop. We're not going into this right now, okay?
Okay.
For those of you who don't know, we went to this. We've been going to school together for like 15 years.
All our lives, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a little story about you. Actually,
yeah.
I don't know if I've told you this, but years ago, you had a gathering or something, and we found like a bunch of cutouts from like your first or second grade.
Oh, I remember
yearbook.
that.
You remember?
I remember that. Yeah.
Anyways, I have that picture. And there's a Jesus, a cross in my room.
Yeah.
And beside it is my nonna who has passed away. Thank you. Me and my sister, and then you.
Wow.
I wake up to you every morning, Bones.
Wow.
That's how I start my day.
I guess I hold a special place in your heart.
So for our fans, that's how close we are.
Yeah.
Anyways, the root canal.
Yeah. So, not a big deal. I had to get a root canal about a week and a half ago. It's done now. It's over with. I have to go get a permanent filling soon. But it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I was at the doctor's office last week. I had to do the celiac test for my alleged gluten allergy, which you guys have done a terrible job of helping me with. Not you, Bones. You've cooked for me. You dropped off some. For
those who don't know, I cook gluten-free food.
Some gluten pizzas. Every time we hang out, you guys tempt me with donuts and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well,
So the test is blood work. Did you know that?
Yeah.
I didn't know it was that. Yeah. I ordered it and then they came in and were like, "Yeah, we're doing blood work today." I was like, "Damn," and I was the nurse was literally about to give me the needle, and my doctor, whom I love, who I've known my entire life, he walks by the room, he goes, "I hope you're using the doll needle, Crystal."
Well, her name was Crystal?
Yeah, her name was Crystal, but he tells her to use the doll needle, which I didn't find funny.
Oh.
Yeah.
I would laugh at that. I think that would be pretty funny. I'd be like, a little fake laugh, just to make the doc feel better about himself.
We should we get into segments?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so we asked our fans, which we got tons of requests and feedback from. We asked you guys to send in some questions or topics you wanted us to talk about. So neither me or Bones have seen them.
Yeah.
But Paolo has, and he's gonna tell us. So what do we got? What do we got first? Bones.
First question for today is: can you be in love with two people at once?
Wow. Can you be in love with two people at once?
Well,
I know my answer.
I think I'll let you start off with that. I think I know what I'm going to say as well, but I'd love to hear what you have to say first.
I think it's clear for me.
Yeah.
I think it's clear cut.
Yeah.
Clear cut answer. Yes.
You can.
Yes. You 100%. So? I'm going to tell you why.
Yeah, okay.
people that people that I've been with.
Yeah.
I should say girls that I've been with. I should,
Yeah, well,
I should specify that.
It's
I should
2020.
specify
It's
that.
2020. We accept everybody.
It's 2020. We accept that we don't see color on this podcast, right, Bones? Remember we talked about
Yeah,
that?
exactly.
Girls in the past and in the future
Yeah.
are gonna need to understand that I'll always love you, Bones.
Oh, I thought you. So
I'll always love you, Bones.
So when that question first came up, the first thing that came to my mind was, can you love more than one girl at a time? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
Right.
like a partner, right? I
think that's what it is about.
So that's the way I interpreted the question. For me, I would say it's a clear-cut answer for me as well. I would say no. I think you can be interested in more than one person, but I think when you're going out with somebody and you're actually in a relationship,
You're right.
I don't think that there should be another person. Doesn't necessarily have to be a boy or girl. I think it can just be anybody. I don't think there should be anybody else.
I think you can be attracted or else known whatever
yeah, I
cheat,
think
right?
that's natural. I think physical attraction is normal.
But
I think,
on a serious note, like you
But
said, I think
I don't think I don't think that you should be
love is.
Yeah, I think
Obviously,
it's
for
one
that- for that
person,
one
you know.
person.
I don't
Yeah,
think you
we
can
see- we
love
see
more
eye
than
to eye
one
on that.
person at a time. Really, if we're talking partner wise, I mean, if we're going by how Sutton interpreted it, I mean, I love Sutton, I love Paolo, I love all my friends, I love my family. But partner wise, if you're mine,
That's why
you're mine.
we have a really good time talking about these topics because well, not on this wasn't a good example, but we disagree on a lot of things.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I think especially amongst our entire friend group, we have
Yeah,
a lot of
we-
different
definitely.
perspectives. We all come from, you know, we all grew up together, but we're all like pretty different.
we'll have
We've
our
all
own
come from.
opinions. Yeah, definitely.
We all have our own opinion. We're very
sure.
different in how we think and how we talk and how we act. So I would say that yeah, we do have we have some really good conversations, and we've had some really good, you know, we've had a few arguments about certain things, but
At
that's
the end
how-
of
that's
the
how it
day,
goes, right?
especially our friend group it's all love,
yeah,
right?
it's always been. For those of you who don't know, we've had the same friends for, I would say, my entire life.
Well, yeah, since elementary school, right?
Yeah, we've known
And
each other our entire lives. That's not going anywhere. So, I mean,
I'm always grateful because you know I can't think of anyone else who has a friend group that they can say I have a friend group of how many guys?
probably 10
Paolo,
of us.
Paolo,
11,
can you fact check that? 10, 11?
12.
We have a friend group of 30 people that we we have a
Yeah.
friend group of 12 people that we've known our entire lives, right?
Yeah, and
And we do everything together. Now,
Yeah.
not now, obviously, but
it's tough times right now, but definitely
we're doing the
say-
best with what we can.
Yeah, I
But
would agree.
anyways, to we're not gonna say who asked which questions, but to answer the question, I'm gonna. Well, you know, what about what's it called when you marry more than one person? Polygamous relationships.
Polygamous or something like that relationship.
Yeah. What about
Yeah, go.
that? Bones.
Well, you know what? Like I said, I think it just I think it depends on your interpretation of life. I guess some people
Right.
would
And
say
well,
that, you know,
religiously, in some
exactly,
religions and
and some
cultures.
people believe, obviously everybody believes in something different. Me personally, though, I'd have to go ahead and say that for me, it's if I'm in a committed relationship, that's
Definitely
you're the
commitment and
person, like
loyalty
you're the only
is,
person I'm committed to. So yeah,
key.
that's just my opinion. I'm sure everybody has their own, but that's what I have to say as far as that goes.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. You want to move? Should we move on?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we can
let's
go
get
on.
the-
We have a
let's get
few.
the
We have a
second
few
one.
other questions that came in, so we're just gonna go over them and then we'll answer the
Yeah,
question.
Paulo, what's the next one?
Second question is, what is the biggest social problem going on in the world today?
That's tough.
Biggest social problem. It's tough because there's freaking so many problems.
It's tough because there's COVID right now, but there's a lot of things that come with COVID, which is what makes everything a lot tougher.
What I've been thinking about lately, and the Brains Project.
Yeah.
Shout out to them.
Yeah. If you guys don't know, at the Brains Project on
tell
Instagram.
Them about it. Paolo's a part of it.
Yeah, our producer Paolo is part of it. At the Brains Project on Instagram. It's a how do you say it?
Non-profit
organization. They focus on brain study and
mental
everything
health.
that goes along with that, mental health. Definitely drop them a follow because they do a lot. And I know the girl who runs
we're good friends with.
We're really good friends with the girl who runs the organization. And I have to say, she's probably
and all the other executives as well.
Yeah,
we can't forget about them.
100%. But I have to say, they're very hardworking people. They love what they do. So I have to give a shout out to them. They deserve it 100%.
I love seeing my friends do well, and
100%.
see them doing
well
more
for other people too. It's amazing.
But on that note, I think mental health has been an issue and is continuing to be such a prevalent.
I would agree. Yeah, I think mental health is definitely something that it's probably one of the biggest issues in the world. I don't think it's talked about as much as it should be. We see it a lot on social media. Like, people try and talk about it, but I think there's a lot of stigma around it. I don't think a lot of people tend to actually talk about it with their friends, if that makes sense.
It was never clear to me, and I was talking about this with some of the other guys some time ago. It was never clear to me how important it actually, your mental health actually is. Because, Bones, up until probably grade 11, in grade 8, 9, and 10, you hear about depression and anxiety, but I was thinking, not because I was choosing to be ignorant, just because I didn't know any better. It was just why are you sad? Just be happy.
Yeah.
No, just remember a time when you were happy. It's not it's not that hard. And then studies come out, and I do more research in school. You do more projects and stuff, and you realize that these people have an illness.
Yeah.
Where Euphoria talked about this. We watched it, and it was these people, depression is a disease where you forget a time that you can ever be happy, and a time that you were happy, and you succumb to you just give up.
Yeah. No,
that's scary.
It's definitely tough. Speaking for myself, at least, I'm very grateful to have been surrounded by great friends, great family. And so, me personally, I don't think, I wouldn't say I've never gone through anything of that matter, but I've definitely never gone through anything, to the extent that other people go through it. I think,
of course,
for me, I'd say I'm pretty lucky to have lived a pretty happy life so far. Like I said, I have great friends, great family. So, for me, I never really worried about anything like that, but it is a big deal. And like we were talking about before, right? A lot of times it's not just something that happens one day. It could be something that is a direct result of a brain injury or, whatever. Maybe people have family things going on.
It comes down to luck. It's not, these people are choosing to be, and that's, this is something else that I realized. It was never clear to me how much pressure drug addicts and people suffering from addiction are under because of the social expectations around them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The way I see it is, because I was reflecting, this past year, the way addiction is a disease.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
agree.
It's no different than cancer or anything else.
Yeah.
These people got unlucky in some way, and something changed inside of their brains the first time that they did drugs, where they fell into this downward spiral. They feel like they need to depend on it, right?
Yeah. And I think it happens a lot, especially with, I wouldn't say our generation specifically, but I would say that the times that we live in today, I would definitely say that drug use is more, it's more common than it was maybe before.
You think so? Well, I think
it's more common in a sense that it has a negative effect on the way that we live our lives.
Right.
I think before, not to say that it wasn't happening before, but I think people that were using drugs maybe in the 60s and 70s,
Yeah,
whatever.
on acid. And
Yeah,
and-
like they were, they were doing it for the thrill of it, and they were
Right.
having a good time doing it. But I think now we see it a lot more where people are doing it because they have a mental illness, and then they also, fall down that rabbit hole of addiction, which it's pretty scary, right?
It's no, you're definitely right. Well, Keith Richards is still alive. Let's
Yeah.
just make a note of that. Keith Richards has done every type, which is why I don't understand. Like, he didn't go to rehab.
Well, there's lots of guys like that too, right? There's there's
that's
Ozzy
crazy.
Osbourne.
It's crazy.
There's
He's the GOAT.
the lead guitarist of Motley Crue, literally
Right,
died and came
right.
back to life, right? Like at the end of the day, it's unfortunate, but it does happen. And I think it's again relating back to mental illness, it happens, and unfortunately we can't just tell someone to not be sad, or we can't just tell someone not to do drugs. I think it's something that we have to talk about, and it's something that we have to be willing to help these people through, right?
You're right. Well, just to wrap this, I think that the only difference between drugs and cancer, a
Yeah.
terminal illness, is that we view drug addicts as pieces of shit.
Yeah,
I
I agree.
And we need to say, because in actual fact, they're just these helpless,
Yeah,
poor people who have succumbed to the idea that they've made this quote unquote unforgivable mistake, right?
yeah,
And if they can't be forgiven, they figure and just give up.
yeah.
I
And
think
it's
there's-
sad.
And then that's why you see, I think, so many
Homeless people, maybe.
exactly
you know?
going into this downward spiral after
Yeah.
their drug addiction turn to violence and crime. You see them ruining their families, and then we
Yeah.
look at them. It's like you're choosing to ruin your family just because of this, but they figure I can't be forgiven because of this.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. It's
and
definitely
we're talking about people who suffer from addiction, not the Wall Street guys who do
Yeah, I
blow in the
think-
washroom in the
I
movies.
think there's a fine line between
Yeah.
doing, drugs for, I would say, not that you need it, but that you want to do it. Just because
Exactly,
it helps
exactly,
you in
yeah.
certain aspects of life. And then obviously there's people that do it because they're addicted to it, unfortunately, and they can't help themselves. But I think it's important that we help them.
Yeah, it's
But
it's hard to
anyways.
talk about because there's so many social problems. But
Yeah,
for
100%.
this episode, I think
I would say mental illness.
health
Yeah,
and,
mental health is
addiction and stuff like that.
definitely one of the biggest ones, and I think it's something that we need to focus more on as a society, and I think it's something that we need to definitely be willing to help people
You're
a lot
right.
more with.
Well said, Paolo. What's I know we have more.
Third question we received was your thoughts on string theory and time dimensions.
Okay. So I love this stuff.
Okay, hold on. So before we go any further, I'm gonna come out and say that I don't know what the string
Okay, I'm
theory
gonna
is.
explain it. I was
So-
talking about it literally with Matthew just last week.
Yeah,
Okay, so there's a couple questions here. We both believe in God.
yeah,
And if I'm gonna say most people, even if you don't believe in God, believe in like a divine power.
I would say most people believe in something at least.
It's
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Right? So, Jules, do you think that God has already written a script? The script is already written and we just get to live it. And part of that script is the ability to believe that we're making conscious decisions.
Yeah.
Or has God, in our case, given us the power to make our own decisions?
I think so. Is that what the string theory is?
So
Well, okay. Before we
that's a
move
string
on,
theory and the.
before we move on,
That's the
I'll-
question that it begs.
Yeah. Okay. So before we move on, I'll say, I think God has given us the ability to make decisions and not have written a script. If that
Right.
makes sense.
So we write our own script.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Mainly because you look at how the world started, and I think the more we study religion and the more we understand science, specifically science revolving the world and how it came to be, I would definitely say that because of what we understand with the Big Bang, and potentially just going based off of how it was 1 in a trillion chances that
Something like that. Yeah.
it was a very low percentage that the Earth was
I
gonna
was
exist.
never good at science.
Yeah, it was a really low percentage that the Earth was going to exist, and I definitely think that there was a higher power that led that to actually happen. I don't think that, again, in my case, God. I don't think God definitely would have had a script, if that makes sense. I think what we do is a
Okay,
direct
good.
result.
So yeah,
and
so
what
you think
happens
so you
is a
think you
direct
make your own
result.
decisions.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
what happens in the world and what happens in the future is a direct result of what we do, not based off of something that was already
Okay.
planned.
So the second part of this, if this is so this is what I contemplate. I was talking about this with Matthew. I mentioned. Do you believe in different realms and dimensions of time? So there's theories that say there is Interstellar was
Yeah. If you haven't watched Interstellar, it's a Christopher Nolan movie with Matthew McConaughey. Really, really good movie. I suggest you watch it. It's 3 hours, but it's definitely worth the watch. Great movie.
so is there versions of us that are a week older than we are, Bones, living in their
Yeah, I get what you're
present,
saying.
and conversely, a week younger version of us, like past versions of ourselves living in the present.
I think how I would go about answering this question is, I wouldn't say it doesn't exist, but I also wouldn't say that it's not possible. You know what I'm saying? So
No, I don't know what you're saying.
okay, so, basically, like, how do I explain this? Like, obviously, we haven't discovered anything like that, so it's hard for me to go out of my way and say, like, yeah, like, you know, that exists, whatever. But just again, going back to astronomy, knowing what we do know, you know, we live in the one universe, right? And there's known to be what, millions of universes out there,
Right.
You know, we look. I think a good example that I use a lot is the ocean. We've only discovered what, 5% of the ocean, like 5% of
I'm
all
not sure
water
what the
on
percentage
Earth,
is.
right? Let's say 5%, right?
Yeah.
That leaves 95% of the ocean undiscovered, right? So I always use this theory, right? Maybe it sounds a little childish, but you know, people say like mermaids don't exist, right? And I wouldn't go out and say like they do or they don't, but you could definitely argue both sides of the of the coin, right? Like, it's not to say that they don't, but it's not to say that they do either. We don't know because we've only discovered 5% of the ocean, right? So I think it would kind of be the same thing with, you know, with the different dimensions and everything, is that we haven't gotten that to that point. Like, as a human race, we haven't gotten that far yet. But I wouldn't say that's out of the question. I would definitely, I mean, for as far as I'm concerned, I wouldn't leave anything out of the question.
Right.
Just because I
That's the
think
important part.
we're very behind on what we've discovered so far compared to what's actually out there, you know?
Okay, so hear me out on this, and
Yeah.
let's ask our viewers,
Yeah.
our listeners, to leave us a comment and tell us what they think. You know when when you're doing whatever and you're like, oh damn, like I should have done this
Yeah.
instead.
Yeah.
Like I can't even think of a random example right
Like,
now.
maybe you're writing a test and you choose answer B, and then you're like, oh, I should have chosen answer A. Say.
No.
Well.
No, nothing like that actually.
I thought that was good.
You know, no, you know when you regret something, you're like, I don't know, I should have woken up at this time.
Maybe you wear a jacket, but you should have worn a sweater.
Not even.
You leave the house, you should have worn a sweater.
Okay, so guys, fans, disregard everything we just said because in none of these examples, it's what I'm trying to say is, you know when you have that feeling, you know when you have that gut feeling, that instinct feeling where you're like, damn, I should have done
I know
this instead of doing this in hindsight.
Yeah.
Is that your future self sending signals back through the time dimension?
Possibly.
As a reminder?
Like I said, I wouldn't disregard anything. You know, it's so hard to say. Like, I know there's, you know, I've had this conversation with a lot of people where they say, you know, like, aliens don't exist. But how do you know aliens? You know, like, it's the same thing with the time dimension, right? How do we know? We don't know, right? For all we know, time travel could be invented 1,000 years from now, right? And we won't know right now. So for me, I think I always like to leave space on the table to say it's possible. We might not know about it now, but it's definitely possible. And I think I think that's how we need to move forward as far as, predicting things like that, is we need to be able to, honestly tell ourselves that, it's a possibility that aliens exist. It's a possibility that there's different time dimensions.
Bones, then if it's a possibility, start sending reminders back to your past self.
Yeah. You know what? Listen, here we are recording the first episode of our podcast. And you know what? If my future self is listening to this right now, send me a note.
That's funny because I was going to say that I was sending signals to my past self.
Yeah.
To just not come today.
Oh, really? I was thinking the complete opposite. Wow. Okay. Well, I was thinking the opposite. We should have got it done sooner.
We should have got it done.
Here we are.
We should have got it done sooner.
Here we are.
Here we are. Bones, tell them how. Tell our fans how this started. How this all started. How many times that we were in the car ride.
We've been saying this for at least a year and a half.
We hang out. You know what's so crazy? You know what I think? You know the days that are the days in the summer where no one has anything planned, and it just so happens that like someone's work got canceled. And we end up all being free and all off. And then we're like, yo, like guys, let's link.
And we go get gelato.
Yeah. And then it ends up being like, okay, remember that day? No, you were at work this day, but Paolo, remember when we went golfing? The five of us, we had to go 3 and 2 at Cardinal.
Yeah.
And then what happened? We went to my house. you slept on the couch. Remember? You were oh my gosh. We ate. Then we ended up going to play ball. Yeah. And then we ended up going back to my house. Remember?
Yeah.
We were drinking on the patio, and the cops came. Remember?
Okay. Just quick little side note. Okay, if there's any police listening to this. Okay.
If there's any
narcs listening to this right now, don't flash lights under a balcony.
Those are the best days.
I agree 110%. And I think that's probably my favorite thing about our friend group. Besides the fact that I trust everyone in our friend group so much, we literally make plans like 30 minutes in advance. Like, there was probably at least 3 times this summer when we went golfing and we decided that we were going to go golfing the night before. And I think it happens so often.
Yeah, we did.
It's just an example, but we do that a lot.
You know what the other thing is? Like, I have, and you guys have, like, an individual relationship with all, like, 100%. All our friends. And it's crazy because, like, there's obviously some people you're closer with than others, but
I don't
you end up in these situations where you're, like, you're grown. Like, every time we come back from the cottage and I'm barbecuing and like so like whatever, right? Every time I come home from the cottage, I'm like, how did I get, like, I feel closer to the people that I've known my entire life. How is that even possible?
Yeah, it's, you know what? Like I said, I think our friend group is probably the most unique friend group there is. Like, at least of people that I know.
Yeah, I'm so thankful for all you guys.
Literally, we'll go to like you said, we'll go to the cottage like for like 4 days, and like we'll just like, we do a lot of crazy stuff. We'll have our fun, whatever, but we'll literally have like these deep ass conversations.
Yeah, those are some of the best times.
Yeah, in my life. And we'll just learn so much more about each other that we didn't previously know, and it's like, wow, like, I've known you guys for like my entire life, and like, we're still learning things about each other. That's crazy.
Well, look, I gotta get going, so we are gonna wrap. I got one last question sent to me.
Yeah,
you're gonna laugh when I think we can say who sent this one.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me just get it. Okay, listen to this. Sutton and Paolo, why in the hell is Julian on your podcast?
Oh, I know exactly who sent that to you. If I had to guess, DeMarco.
No, it was me. It was me.
Oh, what's wrong with you, man?
Anyways, yeah, but look, I gotta take off. Bones, I couldn't imagine doing this for with anyone else.
Yeah. You know what?
Thanks for having me.
Actually, since you said that, I could think of a million people that
okay, nice. Great way to end it. No, seriously, thanks for having me. I love that we're here. Paolo, you're making this all possible.
Yeah.
And to our fans, we love each and every one of you. Thank you guys for listening.
Yeah. And it's only
We'll
only
see
gonna
you,
get better from here.
Only up from here. Literally, only up from here.
That's it. Thanks, guys, so much, and have a good rest of the day.